to LA, to move to New York. Don't wait until you have the best camera to upload on YouTube, the best clothes, because if you go back through my YouTube channel, and I've been vlogging since the day I moved to LA in 2016, but I've been recording on my YouTube channel even before that. It was me and my homegirl popping up with 2 iPhones. Mine is on the audio, hers is on the video. And I was editing it I have the same MacBook today. Like, I always tell people, just don't wait to get started, because if I waited to get started, literally when I got to TMZ, I wouldn't have had a reel to submit. That reel is what got me the job, right? But also too, my know-how, me knowing how to talk to these different people. Like, it's really a thing of like, you got to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And that's always what I'm on. Like, and now it's on a different scale. So I'm like, I'm trying to figure out team. I'm trying to figure out just so much different stuff, and everything is so new. But like, my whole mantra every single day, I get up and be like, well, look, if you do it now, when this person calls you, you don't have to get ready. It's already there. The know-how is already there. I've been editing my own reels since I started. So like, if CNN or whoever calls me tomorrow and say, hey, we need a reel where you're only talking about politics, I don't got to wait on an editor.
You got that.
I'm getting my videos and I'm editing it and I'm sending it to my friends, my manager, hey, what do you think about this? Do you know what I mean? Like, you have to start now, because at the crust of everything, people want, I don't care if you're working corporate, if you're independent, with a deal from a Spotify or wherever, everybody wants a self-starter. Everybody wants somebody that can hit the ground running. And in today's time where, like, I got friends that are losing jobs every single day, like, every single day in media, people are losing jobs, from Complex to Snapchat to whatever. These big corporations that are a lot of people's dream jobs, they're cutting teams. The more you can do on your own, the more of an asset you are. So like, when I'm walking in the room, I'm not just talent. Like, I'm talent, and I think I'm pretty damn good at being talent. But at the same time, I'm a producer, I'm an editor,
researcher.
I can literally look right now on my timeline and tell you what's going to be big news for tomorrow. And that's been me before TMZ. That just fine-tuned it. And I learned a lot, because again, stay ready so you don't got to get ready, right? So start now, start where you are, use the people around you, look around and see what you can do. At every level you get to is going to be that. Right now, I've been saying, like, I'm the new kid in school all over again, but it's a lot of me looking around and being like, who can I call to ask this question to? I need this interview. I'm trying to drop this podcast. Not trying to. I'm going to drop this podcast, but I want certain things in play before I do it. Who can I call to figure out those certain things that need to be in play? What media friends do I have, so that when I'm dropping, I have a media list that I'm pitching to. These are all personal relationships, right?
That's right.
But it's me looking around left and right. But those are all relationships I built, because I didn't wait for anybody to be like, oh, you work at TMZ. TMZ was half my battle. It was a large part of my journey, but that was half the battle. So I would say start now and always stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
I know that's right. When we come forward, we'll have more with Lauren LaRosa. We'll get into the Jamar Chase story. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
To my hometown, my community. Some of you have known me my whole life. Do you notice anything different about the kids in the neighborhood? Ever paid attention? You might start with gifts, money, attention. These are signs. Child trafficking is happening right here in this town. So don't just watch through the window. Pay attention, because the more we know, the more we'll all know to say no. Learn the signs to look for and how to help at no-to-say-no.com.
If this were a Reese's TV ad, you'd be staring at a Reese's peanut butter cup. And sure, my voice is peanut buttery smooth, but still, you need to see the peanut butter cups, right? No? I can really just say Reese's and you'll go get some? Okay, Reese's. 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 Really working, actually. Reese's. Reese's. I'm on to something. Reese's. Reese's. Reese's.
JP Morgan Chase is building on the investments in California and around the country to help close the racial wealth gap and build a more equitable future. As part of JP Morgan Chase commitment, they are taking action to help improve financial wealth and access to banking in the Black community, helping more people open low-cost checking and savings accounts, hosting community seminars with supporting Black-led institutions by building awareness about financial investments, hiring community managers, and opening community center branches like Crenshaw, Inglewood, in downtown LA. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Get the tools to help reach your financial goals. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity.
Sometimes we lose, sometimes we win. Sometimes we try to fit it all in. Sometimes we don't know what's in store. Sometimes we find what we're looking for. Sometimes we're rolling easy and free. Sometimes 1 and 1 makes 3. So much to love along this ride. That's why Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and Affiliates, Columbus, Ohio.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Hey, keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, it's Jill Munroe. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. We are still joined by Lauren LaRosa, media personality, and Trent Jackson, Trent the Artist. Lauren, I wanted to ask you, because you're an entrepreneur with, your hands in sort of varied pots, what has been the biggest lesson you've learned about entrepreneurship through all of this?
Do not stretch yourself too thin.
Girl.
But
how do you not?
Thing.
But listen, you
feel it when you're doing it.
I know you feel it, but realistically, you laid out a lot of things. You have a standard of excellence for yourself, for what you're going to put out. You have expectations. So how do you do that, maintain all of that, knowing that you're climbing? So, the big budgets are coming, but they may not necessarily be there. How do you provide that balance for yourself?
Budgets, big budgets. If you have a big budget and you're listening, please feel free to reach out to me.
Amen.
Because there's a lot that we could do with it. But I think the biggest thing is just knowing that I recently realized that when you are running a company, most of the time, if you're at the front end of the company, you have that long vision, that foresight. So I have a vision for what I see for myself and all of the companies that fall under Brown Girl Grinding, right? And then there are people that I bring into the fold that see the day-to-day a bit better. And those people actually help me to realize okay, Lauren, I feel like you could have done this a lot better and it would have happened had you had better prepared, or had we had delegated over here a little bit better so that you could have prepared over here, or vice versa. So it's a lot of, again, the people around me. But also for me, I feel it. I know when I'm not operating at my best, whether it's on, as talent, or behind the scenes as a producer, or as, an operations manager for an event or for an event space. I own a space in Wilmington, Delaware. And when things aren't going how I envision them to go, I can't even sleep. So it's one of those things. I literally feel it. And then what I do to kind of counteract it, because I don't have the budget yet. When I say we're a small building company, I say small not in reach or in power or force, but I mean the amount of people who are involved in the day to day, right? So not everybody can do everything, but now, because I've been kind of doing it for a little bit of time, trying to figure this out for a little bit of time, what I've decided to do is I just really kind of sit back and watch it where people are naturally good at. Because I feel as an employee, that's one of the things that a lot of my bosses looked over when it came to me, right? I was naturally good at A, B, C, and D, or I naturally could have brought assets to here on this room. But because of your business goal, once I hit this business goal, you never even looked over here. So for me, we have these goals and things that we, set out to do. And I try to be the best executor I can be so that it trickles down. But I really look around and like, the people that I do have involved in the fold, I'm like, where are they naturally good at, and how can I strengthen that? Like, how can I grow with them? Because that's also really important for me right now. And once I started doing more of that and trying to like build team, and I realizing like, you got to walk away from some people sometimes, but like sometimes it's just like you got to restructure the plan. You got to teach yourself about how to deal with the people that are a part of your plan, how to maybe replan, restructure so everybody can understand it, because everybody's not the big visionary like, you may be. So once I started realizing that, a lot of me feeling like I can't stretch myself too thin has been, what's the strategy? And maybe I need to sit back and rethink the strategy. And when I rethink the strategy and I rethink it the right way, I'm not like fighting in a tussle, and I don't feel like I'm doing this. It's kind of like I'm flowing, Like right now I feel like I'm in a flow of things.
You're in the flow. I'm glad. So that means that you feel comfortable here. I love that.
Yes.
So that means you have to come back.
I'll be back for sure.
I love that. So let's get into this Jamar Chase story. Jamar Chase plays for the Cincinnati Bengals. He has a temporary restraining order that was awarded to what he deems a one-night stand, a girl named Amber that he messed with. He said in was it 2021 or 2016? Let me make sure I get the date correct, because it was 2021, right? So he said he had a one-night stand with her in 2021. She was not happy that he wanted to end the relationship at whatever it was that night. Started harassing his mom. She's kind of popular on Instagram. He said she has 18,000 followers that she galvanizes to come after him with false information. She's claimed that he got her pregnant, that they have a child. She's refused a paternity test. We saw this kind of play out with Zion Williamson and Mariah Mills. He plays for the Pelicans. I don't know if you guys remember a story, but when Kyrie Irving was drafted, there was a girl that was online. This was like one of the first of that era. She went by Miss Hawaii, and she stalked him. Same thing, claimed that they were in a relationship. She had kind of catfished him with the pictures. What do you think this is? Are these women being led on and, these guys are really playing with their affections? Or do you think that these women are just going crazy for nothing? Because I kind of think it's somewhere in between, but I want to know your thoughts.
I think that the girls, they get blinded by the lights. They go in with an expectation, and somewhere along the way there's some convolution, and they, get mad and they want to retaliate. But that does not mean that the men at play were not leading them on and telling them whatever they needed to tell them to get what they wanted at the end of the night.
Because my thing is I always feel like, listen, you are the $20 billion a year man. Not billion, I'm being funny.
But they got some money.
But
they got
some status, yeah.
Why are you not protecting your assets? Your assets meaning your sperm. I mean, I'm just saying, like, or your situation. Why
because
are you
men
not?
don't think with their assets and their liabilities. They think with their penises. So.
But I feel like, here's the thing. I feel like they do, though, because they're very much, I don't want to spend any money on dinner for her. She's not worth it. I don't want to, take her out. I don't want to give her tickets to the game.
But you know what's going to happen at the end of the day regardless? Homegirl's going to come to the hotel. You can still fly homegirl out. She might buy her own flight. You still end up in these situations. I don't necessarily, I don't know. This situation to me is a bit extreme. I would love to think that she was led on. You never know what's happening unless you in the bed with them. You know what I mean? That's a whole nother conversation.
But all this after a one-night stand?
I was going to say, but
see, that's what I'm saying.
It's twofold because first of all, I've never had a man tell me that something was a one-night stand between him and a woman, and it was just a one-night stand. And I don't know particularly in this situation exactly what it was.
We're saying in general.
Exactly. According to his attorneys and, the TRO that he filed, it was a one-night stand. But to me, this is a bit much for it to just be that. However, if it was just that, sis is she's a little off.
Oh, she's a lot off.
There's something.
This is more than a one-night stand.
The pursuit for the
because a one-night stand, you don't have this much information about somebody unless you were stalking them way beforehand.
I mean, but he's a celebrity,
it's possible.
though.
So
we know that.
This is a more than one-time encounter. It went left somewhere, and she got mad that it didn't go the way that she thought that it was going to go.
But how much time do you need to stalk somebody in 2023?
I mean, not
like
much,
like
right.
granted. So like not even
I can
say
see
stalk.
who you're tagged. Oh, let me go look. Oh, that's your mom. Okay,
if I
that's your
was to
mom.
meet,
oh,
he not
it
just
looks like
anybody.
she
He's
lives
one of the
in
best
Detroit.
players in the NFL right now.
And maybe I'm different because I don't. When I do post people, I don't always tag them, or I'm a little bit more.
If the people want to find you, they're gonna figure it out.
That's true.
They're gonna look
but I'm gonna make it a little bit harder though.
But he's one of the biggest players in the NFL right now, so that means college-wise he was like that too. There's only but so much you can hide.
True.
You know what I mean? And then he might be a nice person. One night stand don't mean that he was rude to her. They didn't have a conversation.
He might have sent her a basket like Derek Jeter used to do with an autographed baseball
this is too
and
much.
wine and things of that nature. Listen, Tony Yayo says you got to understand that Jamar was 21 at the time. What does that mean?
That means what? Hold
what
on.
does it mean?
You should have wait. Hold on. 21 years old. That little baby. He's thinking with all of everything inside of that little pee-pee down there.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. We know that.
21.
But I feel like, and this is what I feel, because this is part of it too, is that I know both NFL and NBA players, they go through their player orientation, where they're talked to about this stuff, talked to about who to call, how to handle it. Hey, this girl is acting funny. Call your agent. They got fixers. You can go to your vet on the team. There are people that know how to handle it and have given you advice before the stuff gets started, after, and during. So sometimes I feel like, yeah, I know we're going to make choices. Players mess up. They, booty to bomb, whatever. It's like dial and deliver on Instagram. But at the same time, you have so many instances of this going left, and so many women that are maybe not showing you that they are that crazy. I feel like especially athletes like crazy until they don't. They like crazy when they feel like
that's
they can
all
control
men.
it.
That's all
Why?
men. That's all men.
Oh,
That's
come
all
on.
men.
Of course you
yeah,
do.
yeah. All men like crazy until they don't. They like crazy until they can't control it.
I don't like crazy because see, I get crazy back.
Of men.
See.
So I don't like crazy because see, I get provoked and then we just two crazy people together.
I don't pray restraining orders on none of y'all. Like
I don't play restraining orders either. We ain't getting that far because you ain't gonna be able to make one because it's not gonna happen.
You ever dated a Sagittarius?
No.
Okay, that's why you saying that.
Because see,
Sagittarius gonna dip on you. They're gonna dip on you and disappear.
I know my limits.
You need to file a missing persons report trying to figure it out to bring us back to then file the TRO.
No, it's not even going that far. See, because still waters run deep. But see, these athletes, they need to learn from previous athletes. And I also think that people need to just have a healthy rotation of people that they know are safe and cycle on back and through, so you won't have. So you won't have these
love a
problems.
referral.
Most veteran athletes do though, but
They love a referral.
he's 21.
But that's what I'm saying.
At 21
learn
years
from
old,
the people prior, so
his
you won't have
vet-
to go through this.
If you were think about it, right? Like if you were Howard Stern at 21 years old, let's go even further. Jimmy Fallon, like the biggest in the game at what you do at 21 years old, you would have done some dumb stuff.
Let me preface it with that. I was famous before the internet at 21, okay? Let me tell you something.
I mean, today's time, 2023, the internet,
And
the Instagram DMs.
I can only go what I was doing at 21 before the internet was popping. And I wasn't doing all that at 21. Listen,
but
trust me.
But here's the thing. Also, I mean, fair point, and Kamal just mentioned it. They are way more accessible. You can. Back in the day, you didn't know what somebody looked like first thing in the morning when they just brushed their teeth, the whole interior of their house, unless there was a special that you could see in Vibe or Essence or on Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. We know everything now. You don't know, hey, this is my favorite vegan restaurant that I go to every week. So next thing you know, well, guess what? I'm going to go post up at the vegan restaurant. And I know, right? And what's going to happen? Ding, ding, ding. I just feel like I understand youth. I understand it. But at the same time, again, because we have the internet, you see it.
But how do you know?
You see it.
But so we're talking as if he could have predicted this girl was going to get this crazy. How do you know that?
I think there's always signs. I don't think that
There
the
is
girl.
always signs.
I don't think the girl. No, come on. You come up off the information.
You know what? He's got some stories in that room.
something happened.
What is going on with him?
Hour,
No, we're gonna talk to this guy in hour 3.
He said no, you can't see it. Like
I feel like Tick Tick Boom. Listen, there are some great covers. I'm not gonna try and act like there are not some great.
Crazy.
But if you barely know somebody in the beginning, it's all butterflies and lies.
Of course.
All reposado and like the biggest lies ever in your life. When you first meet somebody,
facts.
How long did they know
You meet
each
their
other?
representative.
Exactly.
But that's the thing. I guess in some of the things in this, I don't feel as though he's being as honest, and not that he necessarily has to. He shouldn't be harassed in general.
I was going to say, because regardless of of anything we saying right now, a judge thought it was enough to grant him a restraining order.
Oh, he deserved that.
And that alone is like, I mean, it means something. Because other than that, a judge would have been like, this is nonsense. I'm tossing this out. I'm not granting this. So if a judge said, you know what, this is a bit much, it's a bit much, because that's what the judge said.
Oh, 100%. I agree with that. I mean, girl, so you telling me you had his baby, but you don't want to get it DNA tested to get child support?
She crazy.
You are
a liar.
Nuts.
I probably would have DNA tested myself. I would have figured it out.
Listen.
You are a liar. You are telling lies.
Delusional.
Listen, Pretty Brown Mimi says, some of these guys be on some weirdo stuff being led by their thing. I'm just saying. And she says, he may have led her on. She may have been looking for his bag. Ladies, there's a difference between a relationship and a hookup. So,
That's a fact. Although people confuse it.
They do, especially in 2020, because I feel like, again, I see you on Instagram all the time. I know you eat oatmeal with 2 scoops of brown sugar every morning, and we talk on DM. What? We go together. Are you kidding me? That's what the girls be acting like.
See, that's why I don't respond to DMs now.
Oh, because you're too famous.
You might be missing your blessing.
No, I'm not.
No, I'm not. Oh, okay.
No, I'm not.
Listen,
I'm good where I'm at.
DMs are ice. Oh, okay.
Okay. Look at that. Oop, boop.
I'm good. Don't DM me, please don't.
Don't do that. Don't send them no DMs.
Come on, what about you? DMs.
Come on, is your DM swapping?
I always answer DM.
Yeah, we
you
know.
always answer.
Come on,
and that is
he
why,
always answers the
right.
DMs.
And that is why you were talking about Sagittarius women are gaslighting you, and other women are doing these things.
We're gonna save all that for hour 3.
Look, I never said that I was the victim.
Oh,
I just experienced
these are just your
things,
observations.
Men can never admit when it's okay.
It's a safe space.
This is a safe space. I'm gonna hug you when I'm giving Kamal a hug.
Please, because come on.
Okay, so Lauren, we know that you are going to be doing the Breakfast Club on Friday. What else can we look forward to checking you out? And we know we got to check in with Brown Girl Grinding.
Yes.
You haven't hit that follow. Hit that follow. What else, though? Because I know that there's so much more for you out there, and we know that you are taking everything by storm. So
yeah, so the biggest thing is to follow Lauren LaRosa and Bronco Grinding on social media platforms. Every single day we are having conversations about what's happening in the news. We've been blessed to break 2 stories since, my time stepping away from TMZ, hip-hop related stories. But we do have a podcast coming, and that podcast is really going to, when you ask me about like hanging up my hat, it's like kind of one of the things like where it's like, I want to show the people. The podcast, I think, is really going to show people like, oh wow, okay, she's serious about this and she's good. Like she knows what she's doing, she knows how she's doing it, and the world is going to feel that. So make sure you guys are subscribed to us everywhere, from YouTube to Instagram to Twitter. But you can also text BGG to 21000, and from there you can find out everything. We also have an email subscription list on the BroncoGrinding.com website. So once the podcast goes live, you guys will be the first to know it. You'll get a personal invite to come on and watch, listen, and download on the audio, and then support on social, like join the conversation, hop in our comments, share our posts. All that stuff matters.
Okay, well, Lauren, I want to thank you for taking the time to drop into RSVP. We have enjoyed it. Of course, we will be watching, taking the exclusives and sharing them with our audience here, and letting them know where it came from exactly, the Brown Girl Grinding. But one more time before you go, I just want you to remind them, because, they may not have been ready. Where can they find you?
I am Lauren LaRosa on all socials. So LORENLOROSA. Brown Girl Grinding is Brown Girl Grinding on all social, all common spelling, BROWNGIRLGRINDING. Brown Girl Grinding. So we're everywhere. You know, and you can also shop our merch too. We do have merch, unisex stuff, Bronco grinding t-shirts, jersey dresses, fact black women are effing gorgeous, hoodies and t-shirts. Like we got a little bit of everything for the people.
So y'all lock in. Make sure you are checking in with Laura. When we come forward, we are going to have more trending topics and headlines. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Trending topics and the hottest happenings. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Esther Dillard, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. CNN is reporting Black Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis has asked for a trial date of March 4th, 2024 for former President Donald Trump and his 18 co-defendants. All are accused of crimes involving an alleged scheme of overturning the 2020 election. The request would potentially put the trial a day before Trump competes in the Super Tuesday primary contests. Meantime, the White House can't confirm the comments attributed to Black American soldier Travis King, who crossed into North Korea last month. Black Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said officials have not had contact with North Korea or King. State-run media in North Korea confirmed King crossed into the territory and claimed he did so to flee abuse and racism in the U.S. military. King sprinted into North Korea while on tour of the demilitarized zone. And that's the latest. I'm Esther Dillard from the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Hi, we're Comparion Insurance Agency. Never heard of us? We know. But to help it stick that our local agents are insurance experts, we're going to say local agent 3 times in the next 5 seconds. Local agent, local agent, local agent.
Find us at ComparionInsurance.com.
KBLA Talk 1580 is dedicated to empowering our communities by providing progressive talk radio for our audience. We strive to be an intersectional voice for the voiceless. As a Black-owned and operated station, we are committed to highlighting diverse perspectives and creating safe spaces for meaningful dialogue. We believe that everyone has something unique to bring to these political, economic, social, and cultural conversations. And we don't shy away from the hard conversations about current events. We endeavor to be a beacon of hope and understanding, while boldly challenging listeners to think more deeply about difficult topics that impact us all. With this in mind, our mission statement at KBLA Talk 1580 is simple: to create an inclusive platform that promotes civil discourse through honest dialogue and encourages personal growth among our listeners, so they can become the active agents of change. Our vision is to establish ourselves as the premier radio network with relevant programming across the beloved community, connecting people through shared experiences and collective power for lasting impact beyond these challenging times.
Have you heard about Lendistry? Lendistry is a national Black-led small business lender that is headquartered right here in LA. Once you've started your business, Lendistry provides flexible financing options starting at $50,000 to help you access the affordable capital needed to grow. Whether financing is needed to increase working capital, acquire a business, purchase inventory and equipment, or refinance debt, Lendistry has a solution for you. Lending products range from traditional business term loans and non-revolving lines of credit to SBA 7A loans and commercial real estate financing. Lendistry's pre-application process is simple and does not impact your credit score. Visit lendistry.com/KBLA to learn more and to get started with an application right from the website.
Are you looking to steer your career in a new direction? Driving for the Culver City Bus can be your ticket to a long-lasting career with excellent benefits and paid training. Culver City Bus is looking for customer service and safety-minded bus operators to join the growing team. Culver City Bus offers on-the-job paid training, uniform allowance, and health benefits. Culver City Bus are now even putting their money in your pocket with a one-time $2,500 sign-on bonus. Let us connect you with an essential service job. If you enjoy driving, seek real opportunities for career advancement, and passionate about making a difference in your community, then we invite you to join the team. Start your journey by submitting an application at culvercity.org/job. For more information, visit culvercitybus.com or call the live customer service operator at 310-253-6500. Again, 350-253-6500.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for education as a right not a privilege. Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science is a private, non-profit, community-founded, student-centered university committed to cultivating diverse health profession leaders who are dedicated to social justice and health equity for underserved populations. CDU does this through outstanding education, clinical service, and community engagement. Recently, Charles Drew University made history by opening only the 5th medical school at an historically black university. Congratulations, South LA, and congratulations to the Dean of the medical school, Dr. Deborah Protho-Stith. CDU is now training doctors and providing $90 million in annual economic benefit to Watts and surrounding neighborhoods. To apply for medical school, get more information, or sign your child up for the Junior Doctors Saturday School program, visit cdrewu.edu. That's cdrewu.edu. At KBLA, we are dedicated to equity in education and ending healthcare apartheid, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's Jill Munroe. You are locked into RSVP. Let me let it ride. Tupac. All eyes on me. You know we gotta let Pac vibe a little bit. It's Jill Munroe. You are locked into Hour 2 of RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. I am not alone. I am joined by my weekly contributor, Trent Jackson, Trent the Artist. So we're going to get into another story because, you know, trending topics and headlines. That's what we do. However, this one, I don't know. So you know who DJ Akademiks is, right?
Not this guy again.
Yeah, DJ
we
Akademiks.
talked about him last week, right?
We did talk about him last week. You know, Akademiks is
Jerry.
Making way. Jerry is what Erykah Badu exclusively calls him. We're just going to call him Akademiks. Or Livingston, as she put on her Badu.
His name is Jerry. That one's
stuff.
better.
Okay. Livingston is his real name, though.
Jerry.
Anyway, so he was talking about on his stream, he was going in on SZA. Not sure what prompted this conversation, but we can't play it for you because it's profanity laden and there'd be a lot of beeps. So I'm going to tell you what he said.
Wait, this is the same replay from last week.
No, he was talking about Erykah
But
Badu, which we're going to talk about.
It's the same thing, though. Like, why does he have such a visceral hatred towards women?
That was the question that we're going to ask because I don't see him going at men like this. This is what he said about Erykah. He said, the breast, it's not looking like they're breast singing. That's not what he said, but I'm, trying to give you guys the PG. Yeah, I said Erykah. My bad. He was about Erykah last week. This week is about SZA. Right now, he said, I can't distinguish the breast from the stomach. You look like you got a whole bulletproof vest on. Your whole stuff is flat. Second, I don't know what's going on with your head. Ain't no way you catch a tan on this part of your hairline. He was talking about a recent picture of SZA. And this part is another color. He also said that she has the same shape as him. And it went on and on and on. Right. And so the thing is, he said also, he didn't stop there. There's more. He said, you've been under the knife mad times. We don't care how much you show that little botched BBL. You need to go back to the doctor one more time. I'm going to stand on it. You have a double chin. You suck the fat out of there. And your booty looks lopsided. Your belly button looks weird. It looks like tic-tac-toe. And then he goes on to say,
but they got the same body, though.
It's not finished. He said, SZA, let me give you the truth. Because he said he's a man. He said, SZA, his point is that women talk all of this mess about him when they look exactly like him. And
but have you seen yourself, Jerry?
Listen, I'm going to give you the rest. He said, let me give you the truth. That's either going to make your soul burn or something. I don't care how many albums you sell. You double chin chick. You are just as fat as me. The doctors, the surgeons, they can't fix you. The lip gloss, the fake teeth, it doesn't matter. You're just a fat mini Lizzo. So, after all of that...
I guess that makes him one, too.
Listen, he felt very comfortable saying this. But after all of
Comparing
that,
himself to a woman, a body of a woman.
Drake stepped in because we know Drake used to date SZA at one point in time. He says he has a lot of respect for her creatively as an artist. And he called them and he checked Akademiks for disrespecting SZA. And so he ended up deleting the video, and now he says that he would like to have a conversation with SZA, and that, you know, it can be a meeting of the minds and have a talk. And this was facilitated because of Drake's defense of her, right? But now his fans are calling him out for backpedaling, despite saying he would stand on his words and that he doesn't care about industry men. But clearly he does, because he won't really disrespect them, you know, with his opinion, not the way he does
That's
these
because
women.
he likes men.
And Trent. And
It's clear. He respects men. He respects their opinion. He likes men.
he values men. He does value them more
he
than
values
women.
men.
Yeah.
More than women. He likes men.
So, the question is, do you think it's fair game? Do you think he's just giving commentary in this space, in this media space, as we all do with stories? Or do you think that he's purposely taking it too far with women, especially black women?
I think that he has a problem with his mother, and I think that he's making everybody else pay for it. I think that he also prefers men, and I think he should just come out of the closet, because there is no man on the face of this earth, a straight man, that's just going to go out of his way and disrespect women out of his way. Because first of all, he looks a mess. He's not getting play, so now he's attacking women, thinking that's going to get him some attention. He needs to. He needs a good old fashioned. How can I put? He needs to just get beat up. He needs to get. He needs to get jumped.
He really does. He's never
Like,
been punched in the
you know-
face.
you know,
That's
like how-
kind of the vibe I got.
You know, like how school kids, they talk, then you beat them up one time and they're good after that. He just needs to get beat up. That's all it is.
Okay.
He needs to get beat up, and then he needs to get tongue kissed by some guy who's willing to do it.
Okay. So,
because this is not indicative of straight man behavior. That's what I'm
I get what
saying.
you're saying. I get what you're
and
saying.
as much as he takes punches at women, I'm going to take punches at him, because he does this all day. So, you know, he's opening himself up for this type of attention.
Fair. I mean, I think he picks what he believes to be easy
It's repulsive.
targets.
It's stupid. And black women are not easy targets, and they need to be respected at all costs. And I think people who go out of their way to disrespect any woman, it says a lot about their. It's a very feminine trait.
And so, you know, Twitter also had something to say about Drake coming to SZA's defense, because they feel as though he liked the tweet that Tory Lanez put out about his alleged
another beta.
You know, so there's a lot happening here, back and forth, kind of. People are upset that he didn't stand more for Megan. I don't know. I appreciate him standing up for SZA in this instance. I don't know.
You know, it's very odd that, you know, when Drake, another man, came and said something, he stepped back.
It's not odd.
Because he likes men.
Because he's not concerned about the repercussions when it comes to dealing with a woman. So I thought that this was an interesting conversation. And Trent, since on your show, In the Mix with Trent.
I love my show. It's so crazy. I did an episode last week.
Boom. You talk about sensitive topics,
I do.
and you handle tough conversations. So there's a podcast that features two black men, rapper Lil Yachty and a guy named Mitch Gone Mad, and they recently had Sexy Red on as a guest. And so in the conversation, they were discussing what's the craziest thing that's ever happened to her. And Sexy Red answered truthfully, and her response took them aback, kind of, and they started laughing. And I'm going to tell you what she said in a second. They started laughing, and they were like, oh, you could tell, in my viewpoint, that they were uncomfortable with the topic and maybe didn't know how to respond. But people are saying the fact that they laughed and was like, oh, no, maybe something else, is that they were being quite insensitive. Their podcast is called A Safe Place, so that's the start. So they asked what the craziest thing that had ever happened to her was, and her response was that she had been raped. They then laughed. So I think when I looked at the clip that their laughter was, you know, uncertain how to comfort her, maybe unsure of what to say. I know, you know, that you see those memes going around, like if something serious has happened, don't stand by me because I'm a laugh or whatever. We know that laughter sometimes gets people through things, uncomfortable situations. They may not have had the depth and capacity to take on that kind of conversation because I'm sure that they probably don't have those type of deep talks. I'm not sure. I'm unfamiliar with the podcast. But I wanted to know your thoughts. Do you think that it is fair that people are criticizing them for not creating a safe space for Sexy Red to expand on that conversation?
First of all, it's unfortunate that people laugh at something so serious. You know, I do understand people's defense mechanisms, sometimes laughing at uncomfortable situations. However, I think that's sometimes a cop-out, and it's a limit to that. Because certain stuff you just automatically know not to laugh at or should not be humorous. I also think that when you are a host of any show, you automatically open yourself up to public discourse and judgment for topics that may go on your show and the way that you respond to them. It's just what it is. Everybody or anybody that's in that position goes through that. I understand that very well. Which is why a lot of my shows are behind a paywall, or you have to subscribe and you have to know what you're getting into, because I know that a lot of my topics are not for public consumption yet. People are not ready to have the conversations. So you just have to, you know, it comes along with the territory.
It comes along with the territory. Well,
unfortunately.
Yes.
Yeah. Do we know if the show was actually live? Or...
It was not live. It was a pre-recorded interview. Why did they go ahead and put the clip out? I agree.
And that's also correct. It's like certain things, especially if it, like I have a live show, so you know things happen in real time. However, that for instance, you can edit that out. They could have just cut themselves laughing out, or just cut to a camera where it was just her. You know, he's right. Anything could have happened in editing.
Listen,
but I also understand wanting to maintain authenticity because, you know, it could have gotten out some kind of way, and you want to just maybe kind of, you know, jump ahead of it. So we don't know.
I mean, I agree with that, but do you think that I'm sure that she's getting offers from various people to talk to, have the conversation with. I don't know that these two guys I would have picked to divulge that type of information and to expect a delicate conversation. And by delicate, I'm not saying that they per se necessarily had to tiptoe. I don't know what the conversation could have expanded to because I don't really know, you know, much about them as far as people.
Yeah, the context of it. Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't know that with, you know, Lil Yachty's kind of personality and things that just based off of what I've seen across social media, again, not knowing deep about him and his character and unfamiliar with his co-host, I don't know if I would have revealed that type of sensitive information in that moment. I don't know, even though the show is called A Safe Space, if I would have concluded that. I mean, there's keeping it real and there's being discreet at moments, and that doesn't mean that you're not keeping it real, but choosing your venues. And again, that is not saying that she's at fault or anything like that.
Definitely
I'm just,
not. But,
you know.
But see, and this goes along with the conversation that everybody that has a show doesn't really need a show, and I think that we've kind of glamorized a lot of these people who perpetuate some of these ignorant topics that we have to end up ultimately judging or discussing about why they did something, because we've created this monster. Everybody does. Just because you talk don't mean that you should have a platform. I mean, some stuff you just need to just be quiet, you know, and just not say anything. And I think that's what we are seeing a lot of, but we're also seeing the tide turn with people with a different side of the conversation, that people are wanting to see something more honest and real and valuable. So
when we come forward, we will have more trending topics and headlines. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As black folk, we know how to face tragedy and not fall into despair. And yet sometimes the points of pain are felt so acutely, especially when we know full well that we're being treated unfairly by our so-called justice system that at times appears to be anything but just. After more than 30 years of public service, Mark Ridley Thomas is set to be sentenced on Monday, August 21st, for his conviction on bribery and conspiracy in a federal corruption trial. As you well know, Ridley Thomas was found not guilty on 12 of the 19 counts the feds brought against him. This is not your typical corruption case. No lavish trips, no victim, no cash in a brown bag or stashed away in a freezer, no illegal contributions from a wealthy donor, no money received by the accused, no use of taxpayer dollars. There is therefore no need to incarcerate Ridley Thomas to protect the community. Indeed, the probation department has recommended a mere 18-month sentence. But the feds, they want MRT to serve 6 years. 6 years. How is that fair? This happens far too often to defendants who just happen to look a lot like you and me. First, they target you. Then they overcharge you. Then they fight to keep certain folk off the jury. Then they spend millions of your tax dollars prosecuting a victimless $100,000 criminal allegation. Then, typically, they win, and why shouldn't they? In reality, no case of the United States government against you is really a fair trial, if you feel me. Then, after they win, they ask for a sentence of more than 3 times what the probation department is recommending. Again, I ask, how is that fair? I read the federal government's summary document regarding the sentencing of MRT, and the charged language they use is both revealing and despicable. You can clearly see their disdain for the constituent community, for the black clergy who have stood with MRT, and mostly for MRT, daring to exercise his constitutional right to even go to trial to defend himself. The feds demanding a 6-year sentence in this case is their way of punishing an uppity Negro who dared to fight back. Let's hope that the judge in this case sees through this racist masquerade and delivers a sentence of time commensurate with the crime, even as MRT appeals this verdict. There are no good times to be black in America, and sometimes are worse than others. For KBLA Talk 1580, I'm Tavis Smiley. We welcome your comments.
Now back to more captivating conversation on RSVP with Jill Munroe.
You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Now, VIPs, this story is certainly interesting. Well, before I get into that, there are some comments in the chat. Tony Yayo says, Akademiks rumble, audiences up. He eats this stuff up. He also said about the interview that we were just talking about with the boat guy, Little Yachty, and Sexy Red. He said it was a nervous laughter. Assumed it was supposed to be a lighthearted convo, and they didn't know. Pretty Brown Mimi says, just because you can speak doesn't mean you should. And just because you can speak doesn't mean you should have a show. She agrees with you, Trent. Doesn't sound like a safe space at all. So I guess you guys are in agreement that you feel like the host should have taken a better stance. I do think that there is a better way that they can handle it, but I am allowing them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt that they were probably caught off guard. Shout out to Pebbles.
All right, now you can't be giving benefits of the doubt without shouting out Pebbles.
We have to shout out Pebbles every time, and Pebbles supports the show. So shout out to her.
Listens.
And she's retweeted. So thank you, Pebbles. Hopefully we can get you on. But anyway, That's a topic for another day. So I thought that this next story was extremely interesting, and I wanted to discuss it. So there has been a $1.2 billion verdict awarded in a lawsuit because a man basically stalked his ex-girlfriend. Went very far. So after he and his girlfriend split, Marcus Jamal Jackson, after they broke up, logged into the security system at his ex's mother's home, right? And began recording her every move. He gathered explicit images. This was in the Huffington Post, by the way. He included her personal information and created a public Dropbox folder, a porn site, and social media platforms. He also sent links to everything to her family, friends, and coworkers. He also sent her a message. You will spend the rest of your life trying and failing to wipe yourself off of the internet. Everyone you ever meet will hear the story and go looking. Happy hunting. Well, last week, a Texas jury in Harris County awarded the victim $1.2 billion in a verdict that serves as a message to anyone that is pursuing an online abuse campaign. Jackson will spend the rest of his life trying and failing to wipe this financial debt clear. So basically, the relationship between, we're going to use her initials, DL, and this individual started to fall apart in 2020. They had been together since 2016. They were living together in Chicago. This is according to her lawyers. The spying began not long after that. He became delusional and paranoid. While they were dating, she gave him access because they were in a relationship of mutual love and trust. She entrusted him with access to her mother's personal information, her accounts, including email, social media logins, electric devices at her mother's Texas home, including the security system. As his activity increased and he started doing more things to stalk her, she started keeping an Excel sheet itemizing all the attacks and how he did it, what method, and so forth, and the specific evidence of the attack. That spreadsheet was 5 pages and lasted over the course of 3 years. According to her attorney, she tried everything she could to get the police involved, pressing criminal charges, getting the restraining order, contacting the online platforms to take the material down, but she never really got a helpful response from the authorities. So Trent, you're looking in shock. You can't believe it.
I have so many unpleasant things going through my brain right now that are not appropriate for the radio. My first question is, where are her brothers and her cousins?
Listen,
That's
maybe she doesn't have any. They're only children in the world.
Nope, that's true, because I was one for a long time. But she got some crazy cousins. She got an ex-boyfriend that still revels and will do anything for her, that could have came up and lied in wait and baited this man for him to come and try some stuff, and he would have came up missing.
Listen, I mean, the story is crazy. Her mother's home. Listen.
Because let me tell you, my mother is not playing. My mother is not playing those type of games. And you can't try to come to my mother's house and play some games like that. Come on, bro. She must have had some real good
fire.
Listen,
think about this though. We talked about Mariah Mills and Zion Williamson. We just talked about Jamar Chase and his situation with this young lady, Amber. What is going on that people are so inclined and entitled to feel like they can use social media as a place for revenge and a tool to take people down?
See, this is why first of all, they know who they could try this with, number one, and I'm not going to, Brandy has already taught us to say never, okay? But listen, Linda, when the cops ain't doing something, you got to call in some reinforcements sometimes. I guess, I don't know.
Now he owes $1.2 billion.
That was my second question. Is he a millionaire? Does he even have the means?
He does. This was not the original judgment that she was suing for. The judge and the jury awarded her this based off of his actions.
This is when people come up missing. Abduction.
Who, him?
Yes. Yes. Abduction. Yep.
That would be your answer to this?
Hold him hostage. You want to stalk somebody? Come on over, and you're not going to leave. You want to play a game? Tie him up to a chair.
When we come forward, we will have more trending topics and headlines. We're going to get into, a celebrity divorce story. We're going to get into our Tubi movie review, God Forgives, I Don't.
Listen, I love that title.
All of that and more. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. News and sports is up next.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Esther Dillard, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. CNN is reporting Black Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis has asked for a trial date of March 4th, 2024 for former President Donald Trump and his 18 co-defendants. All are accused of crimes involving an alleged scheme of overturning the 2020 election. The request would potentially put the trial a day before Trump competes in the Super Tuesday primary contests. Meantime, the White House can't confirm the comments attributed to Black American soldier Travis King, who crossed into North Korea last month. Black Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said officials have not had contact with North Korea or King. State-run media in North Korea confirmed King crossed into the territory and claimed he did so to flee abuse and racism in the U.S. military. King sprinted into North Korea while on tour of the demilitarized zone. And that's the latest. I'm Esther Dillard from the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Need an accident attorney by your side? All you got to do is call the accident guys.
Injured in a car accident or at work? Call the accident guys. Because unlike other firms, an attorney will negotiate your case, not a paralegal.
To boldly go where no man has gone before.
Boldly taking talk radio where it has never gone before. New vistas, new voices, new views, new visions, new victories. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we're taking public media black.
I'm rolling the dice, 4, 5, 6, young 19, 4, 5, praying on you, sinners full of hate. God forgives and I don't, only hustlers relate. Trying to keep my head above water.
Listen, I love a good theme. Shout out to Kamal dropping that God Forgives, I Don't. Rick Ross bringing us in. You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. You know, we hit the hot topics of the day, the trending topics, the headlines, all across entertainment, sports, culture, and lifestyle. I'm your host, Jill Munroe. Of course, it's Wednesday night, so we have our weekly contributor, our Keep It Real friend.
What's poppin'?
Trent Jackson, Trent the Artist.
Hi there.
Trent was just incredibly outraged before we came forward about the $1.2 million verdict for the online stalking thing. Dude went far, and I am so excited for that judge that stepped up and was like, nope, let me let y'all know how this is going
Because you know what? People, it should never go that far. There are other people that you can play with. You can move on to another person. There are people literally out here giving themselves away for